All right, well, we're going to move into winners and losers. And I'm just going to take care of a little bit of podcast housekeeping business at this point and say that we're now posting winners and losers as its own segment, in addition to it being in the full episode. So starting this week, actually, it'll be going up on Friday mornings with the full episodes dropping on Saturday mornings. So continue to check us out there and subscribe to get the winners and losers videos. All right, moving on from that. How this week is going to work is I'll give a winner, then we're going to ask Yves who his winner is for the week, and then Isaac is going to give his loser, and then we'll have Yves give his loser. This will be how it works when we have a guest joining us. So my winner for the week is going to be Elizabeth Warren. I don't necessarily love everything about her, and I don't agree with her on some areas, but I think that she, in endorsing Zohran Mamdani this week and very publicly campaigning with him, did a couple of things. She redeemed herself in the eyes of a lot of leftists in the States who she lost with the very public feud with Bernie in 2020. I think that there's a lot of leftists who, just on this basis alone, whether it's justified or not, have forgiven her for that in seeing how much she's now pulling for him. And she also embarrassed Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand and Cory Booker, which I'm always down to see those three people being embarrassed, because they're all agents of chaos and evil forces in the States. And so anytime anybody manages to embarrass them, that makes them a winner in my book. She did that because they're closer to New York City than she is, and yet she's the one who's there campaigning with the Democratic nominee while they're all still refusing to endorse him. So that puts her in my winner spot for this week, at least. Yves, who is going to be your winner for the week?
Well, my winner for the week would be in the Victoria Moboko in the sports realm, the young 18-year-old of, I believe, Congolese descent, who's doing well in the Montreal tennis tournament. As much as tennis is this elitist sport, but in the political realm, I'd say my winner for the week is I think it's one person, and it's many people, but those who did this important report on Canadian arms continuing to be sold to Israel. I know that Rachel Small of World Beyond War is a central player in that. I know there are many others who participated. They clearly did a wonderful job, both at the research level and showing tracking the shipments, but also at the release and the whole kind of media side of it, and really doing an amazing job of kind of forcing the corporate media and the dominant media to cover this. And it certainly contributed to Carney recognizing Palestine. We'll leave aside exactly what that means. There's lots to be said there, but it's had an important impact on the discussion of Canada's complicity in the genocide in Gaza, and those who did that work. And I know it's many people, many different behind the scenes people, but they definitely deserve a whole lot of kudos for that great work.
Definitely. Very, very good choice for winner.
Okay, and then I'll give my loser this week. It's all the Republican lawmakers who have decided, they're from Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, Michigan, that they're calling for an investigation of Canada's wildfire management practices and potential remedies under international law. And they're also going to file a formal complaint against Canada to the US EPA and the International Joint Commission. These are lawmakers who have never taken the climate crisis seriously. Majority of them are Republican lawmakers who don't actually care about the root causes of these wildfires, what has made them so much more intense. You know, Canada's practice for combating wildfires has been pretty static for the past decades. That hasn't changed. What has changed is the conditions that have led to the extreme nature of them, and the fact that they're going around making a stink, claiming that we're making it so that they can't breathe clean air. I say in quotations as like a country, because they're just saying Canada. We're going to take Canada to the. It reminds me of that South Park "Blame Canada" song, but it just like is completely hypocritical to me. So they're my losers this week.
I was sticking to the double thing. Eugenie Bouchard, who left, who retired at the end of this tournament in Montreal. This is somebody who she doesn't speak French to the audience, and much worse than that, even she says she's from Westmount. She's not from Montreal. As to me, that I've 15 years, I've just been astounded by this tennis player's elitist notion of saying she's from Westmount and not from Montreal. Who would ever say that except for, I guess, a Westmounter? Westmount, of course, being the wealthiest jurisdiction in Quebec. Now, in the loser, I guess I'd go with Mark Carney in terms of, he's just the story coming out that he's with he's supported the Golden Dome, the Trump's plan. So here we have elbows up, we're going to resist. And he has just conceded to Donald Trump on so many different fronts, from border quote unquote security that's hostile to refugees, to continuing on with the deployments with the U.S. military, to cutting the tax on the big U.S. Tech companies. And so it's just, and then, even failing in the sort of narrow of what he said he was going to do, of getting an accord with Trump. So Mark Carney he was, I guess, effective, unfortunately, in his rhetoric around standing up to the U.S., but has absolutely just conceded on behalf of Canadian militarists, on behalf of the corporate sector that supports the U.S. And I guess I would give Mark Carney the loser of the week.
All right, perfect. Thanks very much, and thanks for joining us, Yves. It's been great chatting with you, and maybe we'll have you back as the race gets going further.
That'd be great. Thanks for doing this.
Definitely, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see everyone next week. All right.